4.6 billion years ago, the first hydrogen atoms fused into helium, igniting a star called Sol. By 3.4 billion years ago, photosynthesis had emerged on Earth as cyanobacteria began synthesizing molecules from sunlight. Bacteria quickly evolved to break down those molecules again, and this created a reciprocal chemical relationship where the waste from each organism became the food for the other. By 1.7 billion years ago, this symbiotic exchange had become contained within a new membrane, giving rise to the first complex cells that would evolve into all complex plant, animal, and fungi species we see today. By 2.6 million years ago, primates had developed the ability for self-awareness and tool-making. 10,000 years ago, humans began to apply this conscious intent to the cultivation of food crops, converting more and more solar energy into human bodies with the same capacity for innovation and invention. 300 years ago, humans discovered that we could power our machines and agriculture by burning the fossilized sunlight stored in coal. 175 years ago, Nathaniel Ward invented the terrarium, discovering that plants, animals, and fungi could survive in a completely sealed container without the need for water or ventilation. 47 years ago, we successfully launched humans to the moon, and we saw the Earth as an object in space for the first time. 23 years ago, we attempted to build the first contained biosphere and sustained 8 humans on sunlight for 2 years. And due to the widespread burning of fossil hydrocarbons, this year, 2015, is on track to be the hottest year ever on record. We now number 7.3 billion people. 1.1 billion of those people lack access to clean water, 2.5 billion to proper sanitation, and 800 million people lack access to adequate food. Our population is projected to swell to 13 billion people by 2040. Our resource structures are dangerously centralized, founded on a paradigm of linear consumption and waste, rather than the infinite regenerative recycling of living systems. While some non-essential resources are genuinely scarce, the resources that sustain human life, carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, and a few trace minerals, are all wildly abundant and cheap, and natural processes already exist that can recycle them in perpetuity, powered by sunlight alone. The crises we are now facing are not due to a fundamental scarcity of resources, but rather a scarcity of ecologically literate design. My name is Sam Smith, and my project is called the Terrarium Project. The goal of the Terrarium Project is to rapidly develop human dwellings that can mimic the basic reciprocal relationship of living systems, capable of recycling nutrients infinitely within a contained space, allowing humans to meet their needs for food, shelter, water, sanitation, and energy from sunlight alone, without reliance on any external systems or resources, and to make the plans to build them as accessible to as many people in as many languages as possible for free. This project will move forward in 3 repeating iterative phases. The first phase, which we are working on now, is focused on developing open source ecosystem design software that takes known inputs and outputs of existing sustainable technologies and creates a virtual design space where people can connect these systems together into entire ecosystem models, giving people around the world a common visual language for designing whole ecosystems out of existing parts and sharing them with each other over the internet for rapid collaboration and improvement. The second phase of the project will focus on developing the most promising of these designs into concrete project proposals, building teams and budgets, finding build sites and getting permits, and finally launching crowdfunding campaigns to build these test sites on sites around the world. The third phase will be the actual physical construction and testing of these buildings, live streamed to the internet along with real-time performance data so successful designs can be replicated and failures can inform the next iteration of improvement and design. Although the scale and ambition of this project are on par with the Apollo program, the skills and tools required to get there are actually quite down to earth. Most of the systems required have already been designed and are already open source or can be built out of readily available parts. And we know that it's possible. The Earth itself is literally living proof. So why should we aim for anything less? With the support of the Shuttleworth Foundation, I'll be able to dedicate 100% of my time and energy to the development of these tools and to growing our network of contributors and collaborators around the world. It took 100,000 people and 7 years to put humans on the moon. I believe that with at least that many people collaborating on this project and enabled with tools to share what they learn freely through the internet, we can put humans back on Earth by 2020. Thank you.